Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servants Homestead. Today we are going to talk about our last frost date, the events that took place, and our plan moving forward. So, we reside in Zone 8A, Growing Zone 8A. Our last frost date was estimated for April 1st, and that was about accurate. I will say that we could feel the weather drastically change pretty quickly. We were not home when it changed. And so actually, let me back up. I'll back up and say this. The weather prior to our last frost date was beautiful. It had been beautiful and consistent for about 3.5 weeks. And so we began to put things outside in the greenhouse, let it enjoy the sunlight and all of that good stuff. And then on the day of our estimated frost date, April 1st, we could feel the difference. We weren't home, but you could feel the temperature dropping. And when we finally got home about 11 o'clock that night, it was at that time about 38 degrees. And so being concerned, we pushed everything up into the greenhouse and brought what we could inside as far as the fruit trees that were on the front porch. Thinking that everything in the greenhouse would be okay. Little did we know that the temperature would dip as low as it did. When we woke up on April 2nd, the temperature at that time at 7:30 in the morning was 25 degrees. 25 degrees. And of course we were very concerned. And so I'll just show you some of the devastation. As you can see, my collards here were burned. My tomatoes that were on the top shelf. And as you guys saw in the other video, we were growing 3 different varieties that we hadn't grown before. The Comstock, the Abe Lincolns, and the Pink Tasty tomatoes. But as you can see, my beautiful tomato plants are they're gone. They can't be saved. And my collards here, gone. Some of my peppers did get burned. It was like a 50-50 chance for some reason. Not sure why. But this one was my Jupiter sweet peppers. As you can see, it's like 50-50. Some burned and some didn't. Those back there were the California Wonders. Not sure what these were over here. The big red peppers. It seems like a decent amount still left. And these, I want to say these were, yeah, tomatoes. Pink beefsteak tomatoes. But for some reason, my brassicas here didn't do so well. But now all of a sudden, I see new leaves coming out. I thought they were burned too. But that is what it is. But yeah, my kale survived. It seems like everything that was a little bit lower down survived. Those are Scotch bonnets. But it seems like everything that was a little bit lower down survived a bit, but everything that was higher up did not. At first I was kind of devastated about my tomatoes, but then I realized that I still had these here, which are a combination of all of them. I did see the Comstock in there and the beefsteak, and I'm quite sure it's a couple of Abe Lincolns in there too. So that's why it's important to sow more than enough seeds, because as you can see, this one did catch a little frost as well. I think for the most part it'll be okay though, because it didn't catch the center. And even that one back there. So that's why I guess it's important to sow more than enough, so that in situations that you can't control, such as this, when things happen, you won't be completely at a loss. I can't tell you, my heart kind of sank when I walked up, because I was saying, if this took place in the greenhouse, everything that was left outside, what did that look like? So I know cabbages And Brussels sprouts and cauliflower love, you know, a snap of cold weather. And so I assumed that the stuff that we had already put into the ground that had been growing for a couple weeks now was fine. Little did I know, when I got up there, I was in for a surprise. So I'm going to walk you guys up there and take you to see that as well. Hold on one second. Okay guys, so this is the potato bed, and as you can see, you do not see any greenery. But there was some prior to the last frost. If you look a little bit closer, you can see where the tops kind of burned down. More here and there. So I do see some greenery. Where is it? Here. So hopefully they'll be just fine. But yeah, it was a pretty, temperatures got pretty low. You see here. But yeah, so hopefully they'll be fine. And then I'll take you over to see our no-till bed. Hold on one second. Okay guys, and actually these look a whole lot better than they did yesterday, because at least today it looks like some of them are trying to stand back up. They were all burned by the sun, or frostbitten I should say. Let me see if I can get a different angle for you guys to see. See that coloring on there? But I did check the centers, and for the most part, most of the centers are okay. So I'm just going to leave them and just let them do what it is that they do, if they do anything. But yeah, all of this was pretty much laying down. They were all spread out and laying down, so it kind of looks like they're trying to spruce themselves back up. And what I'll probably come and do is kind of aerate around each one to get some oxygen down in there. But I was devastated yesterday. I had to compose my thoughts and get them together because I was a little upset. I wouldn't say more so upset, I would say sad. The few plums that we did have on the tree burned off. They were all brown and mushy. And a few of the pear. But the pear tree has so many pear on it, and they were already a decent size. So it's just the smaller ones kind of burned down, not the large ones. The large ones seem to look like they're going to be okay. I will tell you guys that the apple trees that Mike did plant did have tons of blossoms on there, which I was surprised, being first year in the ground. But it seemed like all of those burned off as well. And I did have some volunteer plants coming up in our old compost area that I was planning on transplanting into the garden as opposed to starting them. I didn't know if they were squash or zucchini. I just called them volunteer plants. But I was planning on transplanting them over into the garden instead of starting those seeds. But of course, all of those burned down as well. So what I will be doing today is starting squash seeds, cucumber seeds, my herb garden seeds, of course. And then I'll start there. And if I have a little bit more time, I'll do a few more things. But that is my goal for today. And this is not, you know, I kind of debated if I would show you guys this or not. I debated. But then I said when we started this channel, it was to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly of homesteading and gardening. And this is a part of that process. Not everything works out how you want it to. But in the end, you just have to pick yourself back up by the bootstraps when you fall down, dust it off, and restart. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to revise and restart. That's it. I will tell you out of it all that my citrus trees did survive. And as a matter of fact, I'll go and show you those now. Hold on one second. Okay, guys. So remember I said we brought the fruit trees inside. This is my Owari Satsuma. And as you can see, it's putting on new growth. Can you see that? Putting on new growth. This is my Persian lime. And it was the only one over the winter that had lost all of its leaves. But as you can see, plenty of new growth all up and down the tree. And this one is my Lisbon lemon. And as you can see again, all of this new growth up and down the tree. So of course I was concerned for these babies when we felt the temperature dropping. So my main concern was to get these inside. I purchased these last September and I've been keeping them alive and healthy all this time. And so I was concerned since they had been outside for almost a month. And this right here is another lemon tree. And can you believe this one was a volunteer lemon tree from a compost pile? Look at it compared to my Lisbon. So two lemon trees, lime, and a satsuma. And so these were the ones that I really brought inside of the house. And I'm so happy and glad that I did, because I would have been a little bit upset if these would have faced the same fate as some of the brassicas and other crop and seedlings that we did have. But today is a new day. I've recouped and like I said, I've revamped my plan, and there's nothing to it but to do it. I'm going to get started. But just wanted to bring you guys along to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of homesteading. You see a wonderful garden at the end when we're harvesting, but you don't know the hard work that goes into getting it to that point where you have that edible food that you could pick. It's rewarding because there's a lot that goes into that process. So as you guys continue to work in your garden, be encouraged, because I am. And I just wanted to bring you that little thought for today. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. It's beautiful out here. And I'm going to go put my hand to the plow. Peace and blessings. Thanks for stopping by the Humble Servants Homestead. I will see you in the next video.